Have you ever faced a moment so overwhelming that it felt like there was no way out, yet somehow you made it through? Perhaps you've wondered how you found the strength to endure, where the peace came from in the middle of your chaos. What if, in those moments, something greater was at work, something beyond what you could see? Throughout the Bible, we hear of a protector who has stood watch over God's people for centuries, the Archangel Michael. He isn't just a name in a distant story, but a powerful presence with a very real role in the spiritual battles of our world. Michael, as described in Daniel 12:1, is the great prince who defends God's children. He's a figure of heavenly strength, a warrior entrusted with the task of protecting and guiding those who trust in the Lord. But how does this relate to us today? Michael's story isn't just locked away in ancient scriptures, it echoes in the lives of faithful every day. His role as a protector continues, reminding us that God's watchful care over his people never falters, even in the darkest times. The Bible speaks of Michael leading the armies of heaven, but his mission isn't only about cosmic battles, it's about the everyday struggles we all face. Whether it's fear, uncertainty, or the weight of our personal burdens, the protection promised to God's people still holds true. In Revelation 12:7-9, we find one of the most striking accounts of Michael, where he leads the heavenly forces in a victorious battle against the devil. It's a powerful reminder that there is more to our world than what meets the eye, that unseen battles take place, and Michael is at the forefront, fighting on behalf of those who belong to God. For Christians today, this passage reminds us that we are not left to fend for ourselves. God's care, represented through Michael's might, is actively involved in protecting his people from forces we may never fully understand. Yet, we don't need to look for supernatural signs to feel the presence of this divine protection. Every time we pray for guidance, safety, and strength, we are asking for what Michael represents, God's promise to stand with us through his angels in our struggles. Michael's name, which means "who is like God," is not a boast of his own power, but a testament to the truth that God alone is the ultimate protector. Michael stands as a reflection of that divine power, a guardian to remind us of the strength we can always rely on. Think of your own life. When you've faced hardships or fear, have you felt that unexplainable comfort? Maybe it's that sense of peace that came out of nowhere, the strength to keep moving forward when you didn't think you had it in you. That's not just coincidence, it's a glimpse of the unseen protection surrounding those who put their trust in God. Michael and the other angels are part of this grand plan, serving in ways we might never see, but which we can feel in the depth of our souls. In today's uncertain world, it's easy to feel like we're alone in our struggles. But the story of Michael reminds us that there is always a heavenly defense watching over us. Just as Michael fought on behalf of God's people, leading the armies of heaven for good, he continues to stand watch over them today. This isn't just ancient history, it's a living reality for those who have faith. In trusting God, we're not walking this path alone. Even when life feels overwhelming, Michael's story gives us a powerful image of hope, that God's protection is constant, unwavering, and deeply personal. There's a spiritual realm that we can't fully grasp, but one thing is clear. Michael's presence is a reminder that God is always near, that his angels are working on our behalf, guarding us and guiding us through every storm. It's essential to understand what his protection truly means for us today. Beyond the image of a heavenly warrior, Michael represents something deeply profound, a reminder that God's care and defense go far beyond what we see and understand. This idea is at the very heart of our faith, that even in our most vulnerable moments, we are never abandoned. Reflect on the challenges we face in our modern lives, whether illness, financial hardship, strained relationships, or the fear of an uncertain future. These burdens can sometimes feel overwhelming, but it's in these very moments that we can find comfort, knowing that God, in his infinite love, has placed his angels around us. Michael, one of the greatest, offers protection and strength. His presence is a testament to God's unfailing promise to walk with us, even through the valley of the shadow of death. As Psalm 23 verse 4 so beautifully reminds us, Michael's role isn't simply to wage war against evil forces. His protection covers all areas of our lives. In the book of Jude 1:9, we see a remarkable moment where Michael contends with Satan over the body of Moses. What stands out here is Michael's approach. He doesn't rely on his own strength, but instead speaks in the authority of the Lord, saying, "The Lord rebuke you." This teaches us something critical. Victory in spiritual warfare comes not from our own abilities, but through reliance on God's power. Michael's actions are a model of how we should face our own battles, not with fear, but with faith that God's authority is greater than any force that comes against us. This idea offers immense comfort. In our daily lives, we are often tempted to rely on our own strength, to try to control everything, or to solve our problems on our own. But Michael's example shows us that true strength comes from surrendering to God's will and trusting in His divine power. Just as Michael called upon the Lord in his confrontation with Satan, we too are called to trust in God's authority when we face life's struggles. We don't need to bear our burdens alone. We have the assurance that God's protection, through His angels, is always with us. There's another layer to Michael's protection that speaks directly to the hearts of the faithful. His very presence reminds us that our struggles, though they may seem overwhelming, are never meaningless. They are part of a larger spiritual battle, one in which we are not fighting alone. Ephesians 6:12 tells us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. In this context, Michael's role is crucial. He stands as a guardian in this battle, ensuring that God's people are never left defenseless. In understanding this, we are called to a deeper level of spiritual awareness. It's easy to focus on the physical aspects of our struggles, but the Bible urges us to see beyond that. Our real battle is often spiritual, a fight for our faith, for our souls, for our trust in God. Michael's protection is not only about keeping us safe from physical harm, but also about guarding our hearts and minds, ensuring that we remain faithful to God's promises, even when the world around us seems to be falling apart. So what does this mean for us as we navigate the complexities of modern life? It means that we have a divine defense system, one that's constantly at work, even when we can't see it. It means that when we feel afraid, when we're unsure of what the future holds, we can rest in the knowledge that God has already placed His angels, like Michael, to stand guard over us. This is not just a passive form of protection. It's active, vigilant, and deeply personal. God cares about every aspect of our lives, and His protection extends into every corner of our existence. As we reflect on Michael's ongoing mission, we are invited to take comfort in this, that God's love for us is so immense, so comprehensive, that He deploys His most powerful beings to watch over us. This is the same Michael who, in Revelation 12, leads the charge against the forces of darkness, defeating Satan and casting him out of heaven. This victory is not just a distant event in history, it's a promise of what God continues to do for us. Just as Michael triumphed in the heavens, so too can we trust that God will triumph in our lives. But how do we embrace this divine protection in our daily lives? The key is faith. Faith that even when we don't understand what's happening, God's hand is guiding us. Faith that when we feel overwhelmed, we are surrounded by a heavenly army, led by Michael, working on our behalf. It's about surrendering our fears, our doubts, and our worries to God, knowing that He has already gone before us, preparing the way. If this message has inspired you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how God has been a protector in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content that deepens your faith. If you found this video meaningful, give it a like. It helps us share these important messages with more people. Thank you for being part of our community, and may God's blessings be with you always.